Well, thank you so much. I'm honored to be here to tell you about my unique story, being a totally blind man who dared to adopt four boys. Now, growing up, I experienced several bouts of homelessness, paternal abandonment, several different forms of abuse. And again, this all happened against the backdrop of going totally blind after being born with a degenerative eye disease called morning glory syndrome that took all of my vision by the time I was 9. But luckily, I had a great advocate in my grandmother who fought feverishly to keep me in public school, to make sure I was mainstreamed when the school said, no, we should send him to a school for the blind. Those schools have their places, but my grandmother said, no, please bring assistive technology to Mario where he is, and again, so that he can be mainstreamed, both socially and educationally. And I've been blessed to have the chance to be that same fire for my own children. But my climb to get to where I am, indeed, wasn't easy. I often say that the abuse I experienced, the homelessness, the paternal abandonment, all of those adversities I feel work together as my own house of cards to get me to the place that I am today, to have the nerve to help children. Now, when I was 29 years old, 4 years ago, I like to say that I look 22 when I look in the mirror, but I'm totally blind. But when I was 29 years old, I became a licensed foster care provider. I wanted to give back. And for 6 months, the foster agency would call and say, hey, we need temporary respite for this kid. He'll just be there for a second. Then respite would turn into what they call a permanent foster care placement. And that would end up going to the road to adoption, where I'd say, you know what? I'm responding to this kid, and this kid is responding to this blind dude, and I think I could help him. So let's do it. So 4 times back to back, respite, temporary placement to permanent placement to the road to adoption, to 4 adoptions being completed in the year 2019. That happened 4 times back to back, and here we are. And I'll tell you, when I first realized that parenthood was alive because I didn't take the slow road to do it biologically was when he's now 8 years old, but at the time he was about 4. When he woke up in the middle of the night and then woke me up and said, Dad, I just puked. So it's like, of course you're saying to myself, oh my God. So in the middle of the night, this blind dude, along with the kid, was in the hallway cleaning up projectile vomit. Look at my face. In the middle of the night. But I had to get used to that fluid because I'm now a parent. And so I often say that my kids, despite my blindness, still think that I'm Super Mario, an intentional play on my name. Why is that? Because they don't see me as blind, because I don't let them. So much so to the degree that my kids were sure that I was going to be able to play catch with them. So one day they said, Dad, come out and play catch with us. And I'm thinking, gee, I'm not going outside to play catch with you guys. You guys, these kids are off their rockers. Foster care has definitely destroyed their brain cells. But they were adamant. Dad, please come out and play catch with us. Please come out and play catch. But when I went outside, these kids, of their own volition, they had come up with an adaptive formula themselves so that their blind dad could play catch. And this included instructions to one another. Hey, doofus, don't run on the right side of the yard because over there is a whole bunch of twigs and logs. Dad can't run over there. And when you run, make sure you speak loudly or yell so Dad can hear you. And don't let one of them forget to run because they're not going to forget to yell because they're not going to have that. Fabian, you're not yelling. Mika, you're not yelling. And I was out there for an hour or 2 playing catch like any other father would with children. And to this day, that experience still gives me absolute chills. Now, again, as I said before, my history, I feel prepared me for the moment to be able to give back. Kids in foster care, when they come in, all of my kids had bounced around from home to home to home until they found a permanent home with me. Why? Because a lot of times when the kids act up or they lash out, people give up. And I noticed that my kids, when they lashed out here, they had never experienced what it felt like to lash out, have a bad moment, and wake up and still know that the person is still there. So I had the opportunity to show them that that is what family is about. When you wake up and the next day, they're still there. And the day before was just a moment, and that family is resilient. So at this particular point, I share music with the kids because I believe music has healing powers. Now, of course, when my 17-year-old came to me and said to me that he wanted to be a rapper, I'm like, here we go again, ritualistically. Everybody want to be a rapper. Can you flow? Yeah, I can flow. Go, Mario. I wasn't with it, but he inspired me to start writing for him and inspired me that he could actually write. And so even within a week, my kids will be participating in an anti-bullying virtual concert with me because, again, I believe music has healing powers. And because of that, I typically put them to bed with this. We are one, you and I. We are like the earth and sky. We're one family under the sun. I will stand by your side, filled with hope and filled with pride. 'Cause we are more than we are. We are one. Thank you.